guys, Charlie Stevens here. Thanks again for joining me on my channel. Alright, today we're going to learn the A minor chord. Awesome chord. Okay, so recently we've learned about the A strings. Now we know how to read the notes in the first position all the way through our first, second, third, fourth, and fifth string. And this one's called the A string. So we can play the A string open and build the rest of the chord above it on the other strings. And we get a really nice chord. Okay, this is a nice friendly one for beginners, and it's super useful, a super useful shape actually. We'll talk about how we can move this exact shape to other places of the neck and even other strings, and maybe even get different names for the chord. But I don't want to confuse anybody with that. My point is, definitely a worthwhile thing to practice, because it doesn't end here. You put in the work to that and you have this shape under your fingers. We can use that to learn other shapes, and we can just kind of move it around. So when you learn this one chord, you're actually learning some pretty important stuff, okay? But we'll talk more about that, how this relates as a shape in terms of triads and how it falls into all that. But for now, we can just go ahead and learn it as a regular shape. This is how most guitar players probably do it. They just kind of, and it can almost hinder us down the road actually to think of chords in these very specific shape-like ways, because there are actually tons of different ways to play all chords. A, we could also play an A here. Okay, so lots of different ways to do it, and so sometimes when we think about a chord as being this exact shape that we learned, can kind of hinder us down the road. So don't hang on to this idea too tightly, because the idea of chords and harmonies, it needs to be a little bit looser than you might expect, because we can also break them down into arpeggios. So those were all the notes of A minor, but I played them not as a chord, but all one note individually at a time. And I played them in a certain order that they go in. So we'll talk more about what arpeggios mean at another point. But anyway, we're just going to learn the shape today. But again, don't hold on to that too tightly, because we're going to have a loose idea of what chords are, so we can do lots of different things with them. Okay? But for now, we're just going to learn the shape. So we have nothing on the low E string. We're going to have an X on that string, meaning we're not going to play it, right? So we start our strum on the A string. The A string, well, it's an A chord, so that makes sense, right? That's why we're starting here. This means that the root is in the bass. This is a bass string, one of our lower strings, right? And the root of the chord, root means the note in which the chord is named after. So in this case, it's an A minor chord. The root of the chord is the note A. There are other notes in it, but the note A is the root. That's the name of the chord. Okay? So we have that here on our open string. Next, we have an E note, which is right here on the second fret of our D string, right? Remember that from our notes on the fourth string video. We learned about that one. You can also do a little fretboard math here and go D. The first fret is a half step higher, must be called D sharp. Another half step must be E. So that's what this note is here, the second fret of the fourth string. Now we also need to play the second fret of the third string, which is also A. Here we can hear the similarity between this A, the open string, and this one, octave apart. Okay, so that's an octave away, A. So that must be loud. That's another root. This is the root in the bass. This is the root over here. Now, we also have a C note in an A minor chord. We know we have a C note on the first fret of our second string, so we're going to use our first finger to play that one. And then we need to stand that one up real tall so we can hear our open high E ring out. Okay, so we have open, second finger, second fret, fourth string. That one needs to stand up pretty tall too, because we need to shimmy in the third finger on the second fret of the third string right next to it. And then our first finger, first fret of the second string, open first string. So one more practicing chords, it's a really good idea to play them one at a time like this. Now I can hear if it's right. If maybe one of these notes was misfretted, I'm going to ease up pressure on one of them. You can hear it, right? If I'm just strumming, I might not notice that one isn't coming through. It doesn't really sound that bad because I still have a lot of other notes, but I really want to hear all of them. Okay, so that's a great technique. Alright, so that's the A minor chord, okay? Super cool chord, so have fun playing around with this. And I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson where we can learn some more chords and talk about how to put them together and learn more songs and just keep expanding on our knowledge that we've been building on this channel. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.